How much longer are we going to keep doing this? How much longer are we going to pretend like everything is okay? I don't claim to be super duper well off or super duper like I got it or, blah, 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 blah. But, I don't really have to think twice too hard before doing certain things. But I work a job, my wife works a job, like maybe one day I'll work towards entrepreneurship, but how much longer are we going to just pretend like everything's okay? Guys, check on your friends, check on your neighbors, check on your community as best you can. Smile at strangers, give a good word, smile. People are really going through hard times. And I notice, like, when I go shopping, when I go do things, people talk to me. I'm not sure why. I try to bring like a warm presence, even though, some people might argue if you see me in real life, maybe I look a little bit intimidating. I'm like 5'8". I'm 5'8". I work out, whatever. But people talk to me and I've been blessed to hear and engage with a lot of different people from all walks of life. And one common factor that I think I'm noticing that everyone needs, which seems to have disappeared within the last few years, I'm not sure why, is empathy. People want someone to talk to. They want someone to listen to them. They want someone to comfort them. And, yes, you look for those things maybe in your spouse or your parents or your best friends or maybe a close colleague. But with me, I notice people kind of just let their walls down. They just kind of, I don't want to say trauma bond, but, and of course I share things too so they don't feel like they're in therapy. But I think it's because I know how to show empathy. And guys, we need to start showing empathy. Now, look, there is going to be people with nasty attitudes and rudeness, no matter how kind you are, understanding you are. You can't help that, right? And I think this whole, give people grace, which you should. But I feel like there also needs to be a level of accountability on their end too. Like, if I'm being kind, if I'm being respectful to you, you're not getting anything by being nasty to me. Which, okay, maybe you can assume they got a mental issue or something really bothering them. But in any case, we need more empathy, guys. We need to be empathetic towards our fellow human. We need to be understanding. We need to be merciful. We know this economy sucks. We know everything's expensive. We know house pricing is going up. We know that food's getting expensive, gas, all this. And we know there's politicians and corrupt people that oversee them that are causing this stress on a lot of Americans. And there's plenty of doom porn all over the internet. I'm not going to make that type of video. And I'm not going to say that you shouldn't prepare or you shouldn't have a plan or you shouldn't have maybe an escape route, I don't know, or a passport, right? But if we really want to fix this country, and look, holding leaders accountable and changing the structure of a nation aside, okay, those are really big things. If we don't have a homogenous, empathetic, kind understanding of one another residing in this country, I don't think we're ever going to get this country back. And I say this as a brown, son of immigrant, Muslim, African American man, buzzwords there. And there's a lot of people grifting. There's a lot of people profiting on this division, but I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. If you don't know how to show kindness or understanding to your fellow human wherever you reside in the world, nothing will get better. And specifically in America, you know, I've traveled throughout the Muslim world, Middle East, parts of Africa, and let me tell you, I've seen nothing but kindness and hospitality. 9.5 out of 10, reactions, right? Or interactions, I mean. But I remember there was a time where growing up here, we were kind of like leading manners and understanding and politeness and empathy and all that. Once you kind of leave the West, those emotions, they're there, but I just noticed in this part of the world, they seem to take it to maybe a level beyond than others across the pond, which I'm not saying there aren't, groups of people or majority of the country that do. And it's been my experience where I've always experienced reciprocal kindness for the most part. But this country needs empathy. This country needs to love its neighbors. This country needs to, I don't want to say give back to those traditional values that made America what it is. I mean, that's like vague. You can put anything within that, but just a basic human emotion, empathy. And I feel like we've lost it. I feel like we don't think about others. We don't put others before ourselves with certain things, right? Just with every day-to-day things. Like, for example, I can't tell you guys, the gym I go to, I cannot tell you guys how many people just battle for parking spots, like get upset over parking spots, and just a lot of people just don't let things go. Everyone just has to fight, defend, and it's just like, man, that's not really empathy, but like the manners that really defined the Western world, or at least the United States, I feel like are dwindling. And I live in Texas. People down here are still pretty friendly. Southern hospitality, at least where I live, in my experience, is still a thing, right? But that used to be, for the most part, everywhere. But you could say the South maybe had a higher level of it. And it's still down here, but I feel like it's just fading away. Everyone's just kind of hiding in their little bubbles, or, sticking to people that only look like them or be like them or speak like them, which is normal to some degree. I get it. But we're losing the compassion front. So what? Because things cost a little more, you're going to be rude to a stranger? Empathy. We really need more of it. We need to stop pretending like our fellow man isn't going through something hard. And I'm not saying you should trauma dump or tell all your problems to a stranger, but we should be able to listen to each other and have those brief moments of compassion without judgment. Because people aren't getting married, people aren't having kids as much as they used to. Men and women seem to hate each other. But I think if we can start at the core of human emotion, like empathy, we'd be off to a better start in fixing this country. But oh, Adam, you're talking about everything but God. Listen, I'm a Muslim. I believe there is one God worthy of worship, and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is his final messenger. But the thing is, when you talk about God, it's like, you should. And it's pivotal to a society. If you live in a society that doesn't have a God, like, concept, and that concept isn't matched with fear of that God, and people just aren't conscious that they're being watched and things are being recorded about what they do, their deeds, then yeah, you get a society of degeneracy and and you know, you get a destitute society. So, you know, Adam, why don't you talk about we need God? We need, like, yeah, that's a given. That's a given, okay? But I'm just talking about from a daily interaction, everyday life perspective. And God does come into that. But we need to show empathy. We need to show more empathy to our fellow humans. So, pardon my voice, I've been sick the last few days, but I wanted to get this video out. Just more empathy, guys. I know times are tough. We can't pretend like everything is okay. But the least we can do is show more kindness to one another. Let me know what you guys think. I'm just gonna post this. I don't have a thumbnail, no editing, pauses, no caption, just my thoughts on this beautiful Friday morning, you know. I want you guys to try something. Smile at a stranger today. You know, smile at a family with children, you know. Help that person that needs help. Open that door for that person. Hold it for them. Say thank you. Say you're welcome. Acknowledge compassion, because we really need that. All right? You guys have a good one. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.